Hi students, welcome to Python Programming Lab Series. I am Dr. K. Varada Rajkumar, Associate Professor, Department of CSC, AIML, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In our previous video, we learned about class and object. In this session, we see instance methods and static methods. Overview of the presentation. In this presentation, first we see introduction to methods. We have three types of methods: instance methods, class methods, and static methods. Outcome of this lecture: at the end of this lecture, you all are able to apply these instance, class, and static methods in Python effectively and implement real world applications using appropriate method types in object oriented programming. So, introduction to methods in Python. So, what is a method means? A method is a set of instructions. The set of instructions we call as a function. If you define that function inside a class, that we call as a method. Now, a method is a function, set of instructions defined inside a class. Methods defines the behavior of objects. We have three types of methods. One is instance method, second one is class method, third one is static methods. So let us see one by one. Instance methods. The name itself, instance means that belongs to a particular object. What is the object? Object is a basic instance of the class. So instance methods means these methods belongs to a object of a class. Okay. Instance methods belongs to an object of a class. They can access and modify instance variables. So self parameter refers to the instance of the class. You remember this is very important. The self parameter. Whenever you are writing the programs using class and object, you are going to use self. This self parameter refers to the instance of the class. So for example, I created three C1, C2, C3 object. Now if I write like this, self dot a, if I call with C1, now this self represents C1 object. If I call with C2, now the same self referencing C2. If I call with the help of C3, then the same self will refer object C3. Okay, that is the meaning of second point. Self parameter refers to the instance of the class. They are used to perform operations specific to an object. Now here this A is specific to the object C1 and another A is created that is specific to C2. Another A is created that is specific to C3. So types of instance methods. There are two types of methods. So one is mutator method, second one is accessor method. The name itself you understand. The accessor means, so these methods we are going to use to access the contents of the variables, attributes. So mutator methods means these methods we are going to use to set or modify instance variables. For example, I want to set a value 5 to a. If I use a method, that method we call as a mutator method. Just I want to print the data of variable a, that method we use accessor method. Okay. Now this is the example program. Here, this is the class name student. This student have so two functions. One is the constructor, another one is display. Now, so by using this constructor, I'm initializing the attributes student number, student name, and student qualification. And this display method I use to display the details of the student. Now here S1 equals to student. Now S1 is the object created. Automatically the constructor will invoke. What is the code in this constructor? Self dot S number. S number is 1, 2, 3, 4. The variable is S number attribute. Next one Ravi, S name. BTech is qualification, S qualification. Now if you understand here, these are the instance variables, belongs to the instance S1. Okay, how we can access? If we call s1.sNumber, that is okay. I want to access these variables with the help of methods only. Okay, so here I defined a method stu_display. Now self1.sNumber, if I call s1.stu_display, now this self represent s1. So it display 1, 2, 3, 4, self.sname Ravi, self.s qualification means it display BTech as output. Okay. So next, class methods. A class method is a method that operates on the class level, not on instance level. It is defined using the decorator @class method. So these instruction we call as a decorators. Now this method I want to define as a class method. So before defining this method, I write one decorator. The decorator is @class method. Now what is the purpose of this class method? So this class method I am going to use to access the class attributes. So class variables. That means I want to operate this method on class level, not on instance level. Now in instance method, the first parameter is self. So coming to class method, the first parameter is CLS. Now this CLS parameter I am going to use to access the class attributes. What is class attribute means? If you define attribute inside the class and outside the methods, those attributes we call as a class attributes. Access class method with the help of class name or object name. You can access these class methods with the help of the class name and object name also. Okay, here the sample is the class name. Now, so this class name, this sample class have one method. The method name is method and it is a class method. Now how I am calling? Sample.method or s1.method, both are same. Okay. Now what is the expected output? It prints 10, 20 as a output. You understand here the I and j we call as a class attributes, not instance attributes. This I, j is common to all the objects in the program. For example, here s1. Now if I access this 10, 20, yes, we can access with the help of s1. If we create s2, s3, s4, another 3 objects, by using these objects also we are going to access this I and j. Okay, that means these class attributes are common to all the objects created in the program. So next one is static method. So when a method does not need class or instance data. So what is the class data? If you define an attribute inside the class and outside the methods, that we call as a class attributes. In this case, A is class attribute. If you define a attribute with the help of self, then those data members we call as a instance data members. If a method doesn't need class or instance data, then those methods we call as a static methods. So don't have self or CLS parameter. So define using @static method decorator. So before this function, if you define like this, @static method. So this decorator we are going to use to define static method. So this can be called using a help of class name or object name. Okay. So this is the example. So class sample A equals to 10. Now this A is class data. This is common to all the methods. So static method decorator I am using here. So function 1. Now function 1 is static method now. So A comma B, print A comma B. Now here sample. So function 1 10 comma 20. Now this 10 is A, 20 is B. Now if I print 10, 20 is output. S1 equals to sample. So S1 dot function 100 200. Now for function 1 belongs to S1, it will print 100 comma 200. So let us execute all these programs. So this is the example for instance methods. S number, S name, S qualification. These are the instance method. How we know? We define with the help of self. Okay. If we execute, so now we execute this program. Okay. So this is the expected output. Student details 1, 2, 3, 4 Ravi BTech. In this 1, 2, 3, 4 Ravi BTech, these three are instance attributes. So this is the example for class method. Let us execute this program. 1020, 1020. These two I access with the help of the class name sample. Next to 1020 I call with the help of object name. Okay. You understand? Here you understand I and j. These two are the class variables. So this is the program for static method. Here I define the static method with the help of decorator. So let us execute this program. So 10, 20, 100, 200 is output. Okay. So coming to summary of the session. In this session we'll learn so what is instance method and what is class method and what is static method. So instance method we use when working with instance attributes. So and we use class methods when we work with class attributes, and we use static methods for utility function. They don't require instance data or class data. I hope you all are understand the different methods we have in Python. If you have any doubts, so place your doubts in the comment section. I will answer all your doubts. Thank you.